What up, what up, what up? It's your boy JB coming right back at you. Welcome back to the channel. Had to jump on here real fast. While the NBA was wrong in fining LaMelo Ball. Guys, I about lost it when I saw that the NBA had fined LaMelo Ball $100,000 for what they called a derogatory statement. And one of the things I thought was interesting was because everything got to be looked at in context. And I think if the NBA is going to start finding these guys for comments they make after they just won a game at the buzzer, you know, everything amped up, testosterone flowing, adrenaline flowing. You got them right after they beat the Milwaukee Bucks at the last minute. And when he was actually doing the interview, guys, I was expecting something else derogatory than what he said. And if you Google it, he was talking about how they loaded up, a part of the court on defense and all that kind of stuff. And then he made a comment after that, similar to No Diddy, if you will. I'm not going to say it on YouTube for those reasons. But if you look at it in totality, there was nothing offensive there. He was just letting everybody know, like, hey, I don't mean it like that. Don't try to turn this into a meme. I'm really talking basketball here and how we talk. And man, he gets fined $100,000 for that. But meanwhile, if y'all look through some of my videos, I did a video on Michelle Beadle dropping the N-word when she was talking about the Denver Nuggets. And the NBA didn't come out and say nothing about that. Didn't come out and say they didn't want her discussing. NBA demand her suspension, take that podcast off. And granted, LaMelo is a player. LaMelo is part of the collective bargaining agreement. I get all that. But finding that man $100,000 for saying something like that is just crazy. Now, here's my point. Don't fine him $100,000. Send him to sensitivity training, send him to presentation training, and more importantly, I could see if it was a press conference after he had decompressed, after he had taken a shower, he had done all that. But man, when you asking these guys to interview right after a game, you got to give them a little bit more leverage. You got to give them a little bit more grace. We all remember when Richard Sherman stopped Michael Crabtree at the end of that game years ago and how amped up he was when he was getting the actual interview. Well, LaMelo was no different. They had just beat the Milwaukee Bucks. LaMelo averaging almost 30 points. Man, Charlotte is playing better than they've ever played in a long time. And so he was glad to have beaten, Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. But to fine this guy $100,000, and from what I understand, I'm not seeing LaMelo as a habitual offender when it comes to saying stuff like that. I'm starting to think LaMelo's being singled out because they just don't like the Ball family still. Because in the context of what he said, I get it. But $100,000, that's telling me you don't like him. Now, it may get overturned on appeal and that kind of thing. But if you want to interview these players, I want to see where you're taking them through presentation training, interview training, all that kind of stuff if you want a polished professional after they just finished playing an intense buzzer beater game. I think the NBA is completely wrong on this. And I think the Players Association should come out and really advocate hard for LaMelo. Because why am I paying these Player Association dues if they don't come out and come out against the NBA forcefully, guys? There's ways to address that, especially when it was not intended to be disrespectful. And LaMelo has came out and made a statement since he had the slip up. But guys, we don't hear that from him in interviews and that kind of thing. $100,000, guys. The NBA is out of control. No wonder your ratings are down if that's what's going to happen. But send him to sensitivity training. Send him to, I can get you going to fine him 10,000 or something like that. But always look at it in context. The guy didn't mean it in a negative way. He was just making sure people knew he wasn't trying to joke or wasn't trying to be funny. Because we can all go on YouTube right now and find the reels where the Dennis Schroeders and the Dwight Howards making jokes about it, and they didn't get fined. So for LaMelo to get that done to him is completely unfair. Players Association should come out, and they need to start making sure they invest in these players, that if you want to turn them into professional interviewers, well, you got to provide the training for that. Otherwise, we want to hear that raw emotion, that raw competition when these guys are just finishing up a game, especially when you're going to them before they've had a chance to decompress. NBA is wrong on this one, man. Y'all get down in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. Is Jeff crazy or is Jeff on something? Y'all think LaMelo should have been fined for what he said, or did the NBA overreact? But more importantly, why is the Players Association not coming out and defending this man more forcefully once you see it in context. Get down in the comment section. Let me know what you think, man. If you hadn't already, mash that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notification. And until next time, I'm gonna holler.